a sandhill crane is raising a baby goose. That should be impossible. Cranes and geese are not even related. How does something like this happen? And why? This should not happen. Cranes do not raise geese. Geese do not follow cranes. The two species nest in different habitats, eat different foods, and have different behaviors. They are not even closely related. And yet, here they are. A family that defies every rule of nature. The combination appears to be only the third confirmed instance of such a cross-species adoption, a phenomenon so rare that scientists still struggle to explain it. Wildlife photographer Allen Ginsberg was the first to document the cranes in Madison. All of a sudden, we had the rather strange sight here of a sandhill crane mother with two chicks, one being a Canada gosling and the other one being a sandhill crane colt, Ginsberg said. The cranes immediately accepted the gosling as their own. For about a week, the geese protested and surrounded the nest, but the father's sandhill crane chased them off. After a week, the geese left, and the blended family had the pond to themselves. The gosling, now named Goldie, was documented regularly. After 12 weeks, the gosling was almost full-grown, and the crane colt was larger than his mother, but the family remained together. The bond between the cranes and the gosling persisted long after the gosling should have been independent. It was a relationship that made no sense evolutionarily, but it worked. The crane family is remarkable. But to understand how rare cross-species care really is, it helps to look at the case that stunned even veteran researchers. It unfolded in India's Gir National Park, where lions and leopards are natural enemies. They compete for the same resources. They kill each other's young. They are at perpetual odds, said Stotra Chakrabarty, a researcher at the University of Minnesota who documented the case in the journal Ecosphere in 2020. Lions kill leopards and their cubs. Leopards attack unguarded lion cubs. But in December 2018, a young lioness put this enmity aside. She adopted a baby leopard. The 2-month-old cub, with its fuzzy ears and blue eyes, was nursed, fed, and cared for alongside her own 2 sons. She cleaned it, protected it, and allowed it to nurse from her. The lioness would curl around the tiny cub at night, keeping it warm and safe. She treated it with the same tenderness she showed her own biological offspring. This was the only documented case of cross-species adoption involving animals that are normally strong competitors. The lioness took care of him like one of her own, Chakrabarty said. His new siblings played with him and occasionally followed him up trees. It looked like 2 big cubs and 1 tiny runt of the litter, Chakrabarty said. This unlikely association was surely the most wow moment I've come across. His fellow researchers, some who had been watching the big cats for decades, had also not seen anything like this. Sadly, the leopard cub was found dead after about 6 weeks. An autopsy revealed it died of a congenital femoral hernia. It had not been abandoned or killed by the lions. Given its condition, it was probably doomed from the start. But for 6 weeks, a lioness raised a leopard as her own. She nursed it, protected it, and treated it as family. She licked it clean, carried it in her mouth, and kept it close to her body for warmth. She treated the cub with the same care she gave her biological offspring. The researchers described the lioness's behavior as plainly bizarre. From an evolutionary perspective, it made no sense. And yet, it happened. From an evolutionary perspective, caring for the offspring of another animal does not make much sense. Raising young requires a lot of time and energy, and is typically done to propagate one's own genes. Caring for a different species offers no such benefit. It is a costly behavior with no apparent payoff. And yet, these cases keep happening across the globe, defying the logic of evolutionary biology and challenging our fundamental understanding of animal behavior. It is not the only case. In French Polynesia, a bottlenose dolphin adopted a melon-headed whale calf for 3 years, a cross-genus adoption documented by Pamela Carzon and colleagues in the journal Ethology in 2019. The whale was seen suckling from the dolphin and imitating dolphin behavior, surfing and leaping in the waves alongside its adoptive family. In Brazil, wild capuchin monkeys cared for a marmoset infant, even though marmosets are normally their prey, a case reported by Patricia Izar and colleagues in the American Journal of Primatology in 2006. The predator adopted its prey. In the Golan Heights in 2023, environmentalists documented a barn owl raising a common kestrel nestling alongside its own chicks. The young kestrel adapted to its adoptive family, eating night meals of mice and learning to cope with barn owl behavior. Each case is rare. Each case defies evolutionary logic. But none of them match the lioness and the leopard. That case is unique because it involves animals that are natural enemies. The lioness did not just tolerate the cub, she nursed it, she protected it. She raised it alongside her own offspring. She treated it as family. The leopard would grow up to be her competitor, and yet she cared for it as if it were her own. So why does this happen? For decades, the dominant frame in evolutionary biology has been the selfish gene idea associated with Richard Dawkins. The argument that natural selection favors behavior that helps genes replicate, so animals should invest in themselves and close kin, not in a creature of another species. That framework still explains most of parental care in nature. But these cross-species cases are anomalies it does not predict. They suggest that maternal instinct may, in rare moments, overpower strict genetic logic. Some scientists believe adoption happens when strong parental instincts are triggered by the presence of a young animal. The cries of a baby, the sight of a vulnerable infant, can activate a mother's nurturing response regardless of species. Others point to the imprinting effect, where newborns bond with the first moving object they see. In the case of the sandhill cranes and the gosling hatched and imprinted on the cranes, following them as if it were one of their own. Researchers believe cross-species adoptions may be related to social bonding, hormonal responses, or redirected parental instincts. But there is another possibility, one that scientists are only beginning to consider. What if animals are capable of something that looks a lot like empathy? What if maternal instinct is not just about genes, but about a genuine response to suffering? The lioness who adopted the leopard cub had nothing to gain. The leopard would grow up to be her competitor. And yet, she cared for it as if it were her own. That care defies easy explanation. The truth about animals raising babies that aren't theirs is that we still do not fully understand it. The cases keep happening. The cranes with the gosling, the lioness with the leopard cub, the dolphin with the melon-headed whale. Each one sits outside the tidy selfish gene story. Each one suggests that something else is going on. And nobody talks about it because it does not fit the neat story we have told ourselves about nature being cold, ruthless, and purely driven by survival. When you see a wild animal caring for a baby that is not its own, you are not just seeing instinct. You are seeing something that challenges everything we think we know about the natural world. Whether that something is empathy, maternal instinct gone awry, or something we have not yet named, the animals themselves do not answer.